Welcome to the Relationship Toolbox, a show about the skills we need to build healthy relationships with others. Today our topic is going to be using emotional intelligence in the workplace. And by emotional intelligence, we're talking about the ability to identify what we are feeling and thinking and being able to, in a particular given situation, and being able to express that to others in a constructive way. Also, emotional intelligence involves the ability to read other people, to be sensitive to them, to empathize with them, and to be able to negotiate differences that we might have with them. Last week, when I was reading an article in the Rutland Herald, I noticed something that just stood out to me. It was an article about a new restaurant in town that's starting up, an Italian restaurant called Treviso. What struck me about this article was the fact that the owner was talking about the importance of emotional intelligence in working with the staff. I had never seen someone talk about that in talking about their place of business before. Of course, that fits right in with what Marsha and I have been talking about for many weeks now, about the importance of emotional intelligence. So when I read the article, and I'm going to quote Michelle Erickson, who is the co-owner of the restaurant, she stated in the Herald article, "We're in the hospitality business. It extends to being hospitable to each other. The way that our staff treat each other, the way we treat our staff, and even the way we treat our guests, it's all part of that." So she sounded so informed about emotional intelligence. I said, I've got to meet her and talk with her and see if she would be willing to come on our show. And so today I'm happy to say that Michelle and some other staff are here with us.
We're delighted to invite Michelle Erickson and her colleagues, co-owner Mike Ronzino and Octavio Cueva to join us today. And before we get started, I just want to say that we are not implying that other businesses are not also doing this, perhaps, centering emotional intelligence in their management choices. It's just that it was so striking that this was mentioned as an essential focus as opposed to what you usually hear. You hear about market research and location and competition and menus and ambiance, but
sure. There's always a lot of talk about customer relations, but you don't really see people talking about the relationships with their staff and how staff relate to each other. That's what struck me.
And you hope that that is a bonus and it's desirable, but to center it and focus on it is really something quite lovely. So that's why we want to talk about that today. So I'll start off with you, Michelle. How did you come to the awareness, to the realization that your staff practicing skills associated with emotional intelligence was important to relating to each other and customers?
So this was really a collaboration with Mike and I. Mike and I have both worked in really high volume, high stress restaurant situations. When we started to brainstorm about what we wanted with our business and how we wanted our staff to be treated and how we wanted our staff to treat each other, it was a conversation that was really important to us. Mm-hmm. You know, it's important for guests, but when the guests come in and our staff is happy to work there, likes to be there, are treated well, we hold space for them, that transcends into the guest experience.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because you notice that almost the first thing when you come into a place of business, there's an environment that you sense. So what you're talking about really registers, I think, with people.
I think anybody who's been in, or even from a delivery driver, they can sense the energy mm-hmm. in our place
and the respect for people.
And it's just what Mike and I model. Restaurants are really stressful. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
That is the truth.
I'd imagine it's not unlike a hospital or a school where things are urgent, time sensitive, lots of complicated things
Yeah.
going on at once.
And
not a
not
doubt
always
that any
predictable.
one of them could be a fireman, because that's what you do when we're busy, is like we're putting out fires. So they're stressful. But how we deal with that stress, you know, I've worked at places, I've told this story before, where I saw a chef throw a Philly cheesesteak from behind the line, and I just would never.
What a waste of a cheesesteak. Oh my gosh.
I don't think that was the point.
I know, but I'm from outside of Philly. I know cheesesteaks. Yeah.
But the feeling of working in that restaurant,
Yeah.
it just, when you walked in, you got a different sense than
Yes.
the environment that we're creating. And I really feel like it starts from modeling the way that, you know, like, it does get stressful, but you'll never hear Mike and I, you know, go at it. It's like, what can we do? How can we fix whatever it is? And it's working together rather than, you know, turning inward and not making space for.
Or really not looking forward to going to work if you're the employee who experienced that.
Or taking frustration
projectile.
out on another employee. I've seen that, you know, in different businesses. And it's very uncomfortable for a customer to see that being done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've touched a little bit on that, but how does this differ from other places? You said that you've seen like high volatility. So what's going to happen if that happens? How do you repair that? How do you model this?
So, you know, it just comes down to being a good person, really. It's not hard to treat people with a little kindness and respect. Even though we're, you know, maybe we're really busy and we're stressed out, having the awareness of, you know, you're still working next to another human. And even if it's a stressful situation, you can still allow them to be where they're at, and yeah.
So it sounds like when that is sort of a guiding principle in your relationships with each other, that when frustration comes, you're less likely then to just let go and empty out on someone, because that's part of the way you say, I don't want to be like that, with it, which you don't often see. Well, I won't say often, but you don't always see in business, where sometimes people let everything go.
And it's very easy to do that when it's a stressful situation. But I will say that the staff that we have, I don't know whether it's just the group that we've put together or if it's the way that Mike and I run the business. But whenever anybody is in trouble or is in the weeds, is what we call it when you're in the restaurant, I have always seen somebody, their coworker, step up and help them.
That's awesome.
And, you know, there's something to be said for that. Whether it's a server that's, you know, drowning because they got triple sat, or it's somebody on the line getting, you know, slammed because everybody ordered something from their station. The willingness for from our staff to help each other is just remarkable.
And we haven't really designated here what each of you do, I guess. And so that relationship, could we start, Octavia, with you?
Just before we start going to another subject, it's also, like she was saying, is understanding and being aware of who is your surroundings and the people you work with.
Oh, okay.
So
It's not just your job, it's also being aware of
It's
people.
also knowing and understanding who you're working for, who you're working with, and communicating, right? So we're trying to catch the situation and the problem beforehand. So I go in there, I'm always happy, I'm always smiling. So if they don't see me walking in not smiling, there's a problem. So they come to me, hey, everything's okay, talk about it, everything's all right. We go through it. So we try to catch things beforehand, before situations get get worse. So
Boil
it's being
over,
aware,
to use
exactly. So just being aware and knowing how to talk to each other.
And what is your job?
So I'm the sous chef there, and I'm working under Mike. Wonderful people, lovely people. So I'm still in growth, like I'm still learning. I've been a chef for 15 years, but it's totally different coming from a big city. I'm from Los Angeles. So
Well, welcome.
it's a big transition where it's a lot of pressure. It's hard. You can't, you could be 1 minute late, you get fired like this. Here is just communicate, let us know you're going to be late. And being here working with them has allowed me to express myself, be myself.
So it sounds like you're really picking up on the contrast of
Yeah.
the management style here from what you've experienced before.
Yeah,
And can
definitely.
really appreciate it.
Yeah, so I've been working I've been here in Vermont for about 6 years, working in a restaurant in Woodstock. So much pressure, working about 90 to 100 hours,
Oh.
not being appreciated, not being, honored, just bringing other competition. It's like, it's unnecessary.
I would imagine too that this management style can breed loyalty
Yeah.
to not only staff but an establishment, that you want to be there.
Yeah, I love being there. It just knocks the stress out of regular life. So
Yes.
a lot of people can't.
If you have any time
So
outside,
it's like, sometimes we come to work to escape what reality is, and sometimes, so I love to come to work. It's great.
What a
It's
wonderful
positive, beautiful
atmosphere to
energy.
sit up there.
So,
So Mike, I wanted to ask you, sometimes people don't lean into this because it's hard to measure. And you could measure like other things that are like how you set a table or a timely delivery of something. But what are the traits or qualities, skills that you look for when you're recruiting wait staff or staff, period?
I think in our interview process, we lay it out, what our ethics are and how we run our establishment. And we make it very clear that there are certain things that we do not tolerate. And we only want a team of people that work together and work well together. With positive attitudes. And I think making that clear right from the get-go in the first interview, you can get a good sense of how people react to that.
And
But
I'm
also
sorry.
sometimes you never know.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody's different and we take chances on people.
Your
we
role
believe-
in the business is what now?
I'm co-owner and chef.
And chef, okay. So
And
do you also, have you seen the contrast that Octavio talked about in other establishments where they don't have this philosophy?
yeah.
Lived it.
Yeah. This industry is notorious for being toxic. And I worked for one restaurant group back on Long Island, where I'm from. And due to how they made me staff it, I ended up having to work for over a year without a day off.
Wow.
Wow.
And I ended up burning out. And I never wanted that for anybody else ever, because that's really hard. It affects you physically, mentally, spiritually,
definitely.
Interpersonal relationships. So when Michelle and I were discussing how we were going to do this was very important to me, that to eliminate the toxicity and do everything based on respect.
And that's what stood out in the article to me. That seemed to be something that you're putting out there. This is important to us.
It's important for people to have a balance. And a lot of times, people in the restaurant business, they're kind of the forgotten children, especially in the kitchen. They work hundreds of hours, not hundreds, but 100 hours, and they don't have time, for their families. They don't have time to do whatever hobby they want to do. And it's just, it's unhealthy. We try to make sure that if, in the interview process, like Mike said, we're very direct. We lay it out. We stand behind a positive work environment. We lay out if you need, like, you'll be heard. If it's a problem, if it's an idea, a suggestion, no matter what, come to us. We'll hear you. Maybe not during the dinner rush. That's not the time. But we've got time, and we've got, you know, the place and the space to hear you out.
So they are sensing, again, your commitment to this. It's action. It's
So
not
if we
just
don't
talk.
buy in, no one else is going to buy in.
Yeah.
And we buy in. We think that there's a better way to manage restaurants than that they've been managed in the past.
What do you like to hear staff say about your management staff, you know, either overhear it as they're talking among themselves, and also what would you like your customers to say about what they observe in the interaction of your staff?
So as far as the staff, it's not even what they say, it's how I see them in the work environment. Oak's playing music, servers are coming in dancing, stopping at a station, they're dancing for a minute, then they're going out and running food. You know, they come in and hear, you know, it's outside in the restaurant, it's like doo doo doo, and then they come back in the kitchen, it's like womp womp womp, and you know, they have a dance moment, and then they go back out to the table. So it's not even necessarily about what I want to hear them say. It's really just watching them busting their humps, but still smiling, being happy to be there. You know, people spend a lot of time at work.
Sure.
Sure do.
So
They become
if
family.
they're
Yeah.
coming into a place where they're underappreciated, you know, their outside work life isn't appreciated, we don't care, just work. I'm sorry, you know, you're going to miss that wedding. You're going to miss, you know, if we're not promoting them having another, you know, an outside life and those other things that will fill them emotionally, then they're not gonna come to work with that same attitude. And I think that will transcend. I'm hopeful it transcends to the guest experience. So it's not even necessarily what I want to hear; it's what I'm seeing.
I think what we're seeing is that the staff at our restaurant, they show up without anxiety about coming to work. Because when you work in a toxic environment, there's a lot of anxiety then. Just about showing up.
Yeah.
And
Getting ready for
everybody's,
it.
And
everybody's
hiding from abuse, you know,
right.
or neglect or invisibility.
And I think that's the energy that transcends to our guests. So they're not picking up on anxiety and stress.
And then by staying positive, we are able to put positive energy into the food that we bring to our customers.
Yeah.
So by not being upset, not being, you know, you're not putting that negative energy into your food. So when we're happy, we're putting that love, we're putting that excitement, and that matters because that energy, we're transferring that positive energy into the consumers.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
So if I want to get back to like, how do you know when it's working? And I'm hearing a little bit that, Michelle, you're saying that when people feel heard, so you're acknowledging their ideas or their needs, and that there's some joy. But what descriptors would you use that you're looking for in a person? You know, what is it? And
Now,
like
you mentioned their behavior as an indicator too. Is there anything else that?
in that positive atmosphere, what are the ingredients, to use a food term, in that secret sauce?
Well, making people feel that, so she's the boss, they're the boss, right? Obviously, but it's like they make you feel like they're working for me. Like they're not
Okay.
taking that energy like, oh, I'm your boss and I'm above you.
Okay.
They're allowing me to lead. We allow other people to lead. So a lot of other people come in and they're not heard. They just work. So
recognition.
exactly.
Sense of equality among
Right.
you.
So,
that you,
and then how you see it is by everybody smiling and happy to be there.
Okay.
So,
So their needs are getting met. We often talk about human needs and you need to have a safe place to work.
Yeah,
But
and
then
respect.
and respect. But then as you climb up
And breaking
it's more-
people's shells. We got to get people to come out their shells, and that's what I do. So if you're there just in your corner, I'm the one that's going to come and just, hey, come here. Let's boogie down. Like, no. So that's what, but, we all do it, and then, you see Chef Mike give a little shimmy there, on the line.
So you have to be able to
So,
dance.
There's a lot of dancing.
Okay, is that a requirement? You must be able to dance.
Along with the work environment, you have to show your dance skills.
Yeah, definitely. And then the other thing is communicating with front of the house. A lot of restaurants don't do that. Like, there's always negativity between front of the house and back of the house.
Can you explain what that means, front of the house and back of the house?
So back of the house is the kitchen staff, and front of the house are like the wait staff, waiters, bartenders.
Yeah.
There's a lot of restaurants have a lot of conflict between front of the house and back
And
of the house.
if you haven't worked in a restaurant, why is that? Is there competition? Or is there...
It's not that it's competition, because obviously
Is it
there's money in the front of the house, but there'll be mistakes. But it's just a lot of chefs you can't make one simple mistake because they take it too tense, and then that's when you get the plate tossed.
Octavia, I can remember actually a time when a waitress went to the shut the window between the front house and the back house, I guess, and said, "You got that order for me? I ordered that 5 minutes ago." I go, "Where is it?" I thought, whoa, how would I receive that if I were the person working in the kitchen?
And mistakes happen. And, we've set the precedence that if, say a server takes an order wrong, everybody makes mistakes. You go to the window. You're not going to be reprimanded. You're not going to be screamed at. You tell them what you need, and then that's it. We don't need to know what color shirt the guy's wearing. It's okay. Everybody makes a mistake.
Yeah.
Just tell the back of the house what you need, and you get that.
So that must lead, again, to more comfort among your staff to know if I make a mistake, they're going to work with me to correct this.
Yeah.
And then you have to respect them, because at the end of the day, their money is that tip. So if we don't respect them on them making a living, it's like, well, what's the purpose? What's the point? So we have to respect them and give them that confidence to come to the window and ask. Because there's a lot of them that come to the window and they're like, "Oh, can you ask him to?" So it's like, no, just come up. Like, it's all right.
So you don't want to create any kind of fear of speaking up and talking about your needs or making mistakes.
And
Exactly.
that's been a thing, especially with the front of the house. So I manage the front of the house primarily. Mike, is in the back of the house as chef and co-owner. And it actually, I think that it's worked out the way it has is because we're both sensitive to those things, and we both have the desire to create something, and each of us have the perspective. These are these are the things I see in the front of the house that we need. These are the things he sees in the back of the house that he needs, and working together and talking them through, it just benefits the entire
Because there's an
environment.
interdependence between the front-facing, public-facing, and then the preparation.
Do you ever have...
And there's a human element that runs through the whole
The whole thing,
Yeah.
that
absolutely.
often gets lost.
Right.
So we keep in mind the human element, and that all of our coworkers, we're all the same. We're all just people. We do make mistakes, and we also do great things at the same time, in the same day.
Hopefully you're not all off on the same day.
No, we are.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Then your
100%.
staff might be able to buoy you up.
Do you ever
The
have...
thing is, too, is that allowing them to, like Oak was saying, to grow and flourish and be creative, it does nothing but benefit Mike and I, quite honestly, because we don't know everything, and having a staff that buys in, whether it's buys into the food, the service, or the work environment that we're creating. Having all of those minds work together and all of those talents work together, it does nothing but benefit the business.
And they've
So how do you all
invested.
bring that together, Michelle? Do you have meetings afterward where you process what happened during the day or something? How do you get that feedback and work with it?
So I think we model it mostly. We do have staff meetings, pre-shift meetings, just to talk about what they can expect that shift, and occasional staff meetings. But a lot of it's just modeling.
I think overall it comes down to humility,
Oh, good.
which I think is
Yeah, go with that theme. Let's hear some more about that.
overlooked.
Yeah.
But when you add arrogance and ego, you're less respectful to the people around you.
And that kind of turns them off to working with you as a team, I would think.
Right. It makes work more difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think humility is a big thing. That's why we're accepting of ideas
Right.
and
And
allowing
growth.
people to express themselves. And because we're not above or better, we're all the same, and we want to see everybody flourish and express themselves and contribute to what we're doing.
And be invested.
Because it's a team effort.
And that touches on something that we believe, certainly these skills can be taught.
I was just about to hit that.
Well, I don't need to
Go
take
with
that from you.
I know
only
he's starting
have
his own show.
Yeah. Why don't
So,
you develop that?
and then well, before she hit us with the subject, and teaching. So, like I said, I've been in the industry for 15 years. I'm still being taught, right? Mike still teaches me. I still come up with some ideas, and he teaches me how to finesse it, how to find it. I get the flavor, but hey, you're only halfway there, so it makes me think more. So I appreciate that more, right? So when other people come in and they don't have the knife skills, we're willing to teach, right? Michelle is teaching me how to be a better person. Mike is teaching me how to be a better chef, also a better person. So it's teaching my knowledge to the next person so it could go forward. So
it's been modeled for you and you're modeling it.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to
And I
do
share it.
here.
Yeah, that it is a teachable skill.
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And everybody that comes in that don't know it, and then that's another thing why people that work for us or work there, there's not just one thing you do. They're like, oh, you never scrambled some eggs before?
Right.
Here you go, scramble, whisk it, throw a little in the air, get the air fluff in there. So it's doing little
Right, so
simple
you're
things like
teaching
that.
how to scramble eggs, and you're also
there's
teaching...
there's more than just milk and cereal.
Right, and you're also teaching how to talk to power,
Yeah.
how to communicate to your boss about a great idea or a concern that you have.
And welcoming that.
Yeah.
That's
So-
part of the atmosphere.
We're just about out of time, but we want to thank you for joining us today, because
Thank
these
you
are the
for
kind
having
of
me.
skills that we talk about, and we talk about them in family, interpersonally, and certainly in the workplace as well. And it's great to be able to connect with you, and we wish you the best.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you for having
We
us.
thank you for joining us today on the Relationship Toolbox, and we hope to see you again soon.